Hey, what's up? Hey, I'm doing well. How are you doing? Can you hear me? Just want to make sure the mic is working. Okay, good. Just making sure. Making sure. Um, cool. Well, glad you're here. I don't know if anyone anyone else will come, but figured I would just hop on hop on the charts. It's kind of going over. I guess this is YM. I don't pay much attention to YM, but I'll just go through the indices and just kind of remarking everything up. So prepare for tomorrow. But YM is still looking like this monthly's the target. Let's see. NQ. Our monthly LOD. Creating a monthly. Can you please suggest me how I can start your day? Like how to start each day, like before you trade? Um, so I would start on for me on Sundays. I like to get on Sunday night and I'll start um, on the monthly. Although I don't do the monthly every time because I usually just leave them up. But and not much has changed, when we're in a month. But if you look at your weekly, you'll see. So like on Monday, like here on Monday, I would have come to the charts monthly. I would have seen, I would have thought we were, we've been bullish. We had monthly fair value gap. So our monthly order flow leg is bullish. We had fair value area here. That. So this is like starting off the week. Wait, this is Wednesday. I think my, need to get to, here we go. Okay, so there's Monday. So yeah, I would say we're bullish on the monthly, weekly. Again, I would say we're bullish. I'm going to go ahead and delete this because we have a new context area here. So on the weekly, I would also notice that we are bullish here. We have a fair value area. We have a weekly fair value gap. We're respecting it. So the previous week looks like we respected it. Nice rejection. And I would not want price to come here. Whoops. Wow. So if we're going to reject, if we're going to go higher, I think we should already go higher or potentially sweep this low. So this is kind of what would be thinking on Monday. But I am bullish. Our monthly is bullish. Our weekly is bullish. So that's nice that they're both in context with each other. So now we get to the daily. On our daily, we do have this daily fair value gap. Let's kind of mark this whole area that we have. But overall, we're bullish. I don't remember if Monday had news this week or not. No. So depending on your trading plan, you may not even trade Monday since there's no news. So we'll skip to Tuesday. I guess we were on Tuesday technically, weren't we? So Monday, no news. So I'm looking for bullish price action. I think Monday here. So we know Monday and Tuesday can sometimes form the low of the week. So if we're thinking higher prices, then Monday or Tuesday can often provide the low of the week. So Monday has a low here. We did not close above this candle high. So we could, if we wanted to in this time, come lower to then go higher, right? Whoops. So that's kind of how I would be preparing. If your rules are you don't trade with no red folder, then I wouldn't even trade Monday and then come to the charts Monday night. And this is what you would see. So you have your weekly, you see where we were respecting it. And really from a weekly, we can go straight to a 4-hour time frame to look for our 4-hour ST, which we did not really get one. So we would want to go to the daily to use it for our context. This is what I would do. I would just, you probably already have your monthly, unless it's the start of a new month. Then I would use your weekly, see what your weekly candle did that previous week. We respected a weekly fair value gap. We were respecting fair value area. So we should seek the higher prices here. So that's kind of where I would be. Then daily. So on Tuesday, I would only really be looking for longs if you're wanting to go with your daily bias. So Tuesday we have news at, let's say Jeddah Oil Summit. Huh, interesting. I actually lived in Jeddah for 4 years, so that's funny. But so Tuesday red folder news at 10. So coming into this day, I would note we have news at 10. So I would be wanting to trade after 10. And 11 could be your potential silver bullet if that is something you trade. So that's kind of where I would be. I'd be looking for our manipulation down to then get our price up. Let's see if there's any 1 hours. Sorry, let me go ahead and mark this. Oh, I did mark it. Okay, so we do have this. Was that our previous day low? Yes. So we have this. Daily low. Previous day low there. We have a 1 hour here. So we're going to wait till Tuesday 10. I'll mark at 11. Yeah, not super complicated, or I try not to make it super complicated. I try and, think through. You probably already know if your monthly's bullish, and then you want your, weekly and daily ideally to be in context with that bullish price action. So, yeah, I would just come in knowing if you're going to be bullish, that Monday or Tuesday may present the low, and then that should give you some nice price action to get involved in for higher prices. But yeah, here I'll just get to 10, see what it does. So 10 did not do much. Yeah, now you're really just looking for what it wants to, looking for your entries and your time frames to get involved in. So that's all I would do. One thing I hear about you that you're good at watching consolidation before it happens. Can you tell me what's the thinking behind it on a higher time frame? Yeah, sure. Just remove those real quick. It's not, a lot of it is gonna be familiarity with the asset you're trading, whether it's indices or oil or pairs. I don't know what you trade if you trade Forex, but some of it's just going to be familiarity. And I think the best way to study it is to find consolidation areas like this, right? And kind of find these consolidation areas, and then I would look for what led up to that. So how can we get familiar with what price is doing right before we get to a consolidation? It's kind of what I would do. So I mean, obviously, most of the time you're going to see price consolidate after it reaches its context. So in this case, price has reached its context high. So we can expect some consolidation around there, which we did get. Then we got our manipulation down to then head higher. I did share this, but so what you can see is we can anticipate some of this consolidation in that we're needing to generate more liquidity, right? We've reached our all-time highs here, and once we reach our context, the market has to build up new liquidity. It needs to, and the way it does that is it consolidates to then take all of this sell side to then push higher. So understanding where the market is going to build liquidity is a big factor. Another area is 50% of a range. Consolidation after an impulse move. Yep. Yeah. Yeah. After big moves, you'll get consolidation. Yep. True. So 50% of a range, you can also expect consolidation. So that is another area. If we've expanded and I see retracement, I may mark out this 50% area to look for some consolidation. So I bet if we went down to like a 1 hour here, so on this 1 hour, what do you see? consolidation. All of this, right? Just consolidating until it wanted to expand higher. So that's one way. And the other way is, it's a lot of it is going to be like at these all-time highs. I like to project out from a consolidation area to get to a potential new area for price to go, or price to reach to, and then consolidate. So if we took the 50% of this and matched it, so we have our leg here, matched our 50% with the 50% of the consolidation, it can give us a nice target to look at, which we did go above it some, but you'll see we start consolidating around here. So it provides a nice little target for projecting where price may reach to then expect some more consolidation. But yeah, other than that, as far as when I'm like on a 1 minute chart, it's going to be, some of it is where in the range are we? If we're retracing, what time of day is it? Is it lunchtime? Was London a big move? Like you were saying, if London was a big impulse move, then we probably won't see much in the AM. So some of it's just being aware of what price has done. But then in general, I would start looking like in this area, we go just to the 1 minute. Let's go here. If we come to the 1 minute in this area. So we start expanding, reach some highs here. Nice overlapping, came up. This is where we start to consolidate this area right here, right? We ran these highs, pushed up. So what is price doing? When price stops acting in the manner in which you expect it to, so here, price acted how we would expect, right? Dip in and immediately create a new fair value gap higher. Then we start getting early signs here, right? We're no longer creating more fair value gaps. So this could be a sign that we're starting to get to where we may retrace into some consolidation, because price is no longer behaving how it should behave. You see that here as well. When we come down, we get bullish fair value gaps. We tap into this. We tap into this bullish PD array here, along with a fair value area. So what should price do? Well, it should offer fair value and then seek liquidity here, here, and then potentially here, and I guess actually here. Without going to any higher time frames, I don't know what the higher time frames are doing right now, but this is what I'm looking. This is what I would study. Look where price consolidates. So we saw it consolidate here. So what had price done beforehand? What was it doing? We see it properly respecting fair value gaps and fair value areas. This was a fair value area. Those highs. Respecting and immediately expanding away. Then we stop doing that. This whole leg stops doing that. I don't know if I guess there was some liquidity up here. So we did take some liquidity. Good to know. After we take liquidity, what can we expect? Consolidation. And we get early signs of that leading up to this liquidity point, and that price is no longer expanding into it. And then we come down, we should see price push down from this area, this fair value area, to seek liquidity. What's it do? It seeks the liquidity. At this point, this is when I would call consolidation, right here. Just on a 1 minute. I don't know what the 5 minutes doing, but on a 1 minute time frame, this would signal to me consolidation, potential seek and destroy, because we had this whole leg fail to act how it should, leading up to liquidity. Once we reach the liquidity, we probably need to build more because we're not running it. We get fair value gaps down. The bearish fair value gaps do not behave how they should. They're not pushing price lower with new order flow legs. And in fact, we're starting to create bullish order flow legs. So, I mean, you can see it's just taking liquidity on both ends. We're no longer really respecting we're not really respecting our bullish or bearish PD arrays at this point, right? We have all of these fair value gaps here in a small area that really are not expanding. So that's how I would dissect price and get to where you get familiar with how price should behave off of a PD array. And then when it stops behaving that way, start getting suspicious. And once you see, and the biggest key in spotting it is when you have bullish and bearish PD arrays failing, and you're no longer running any liquidity. You are sweeping everything. This was a fair value area here for this bullish leg. We're disrespecting it, right? All these fair value areas, all these fair value areas, except for this one, are kind of failing. Disrespected another PD array. So that's what I would look for. This could have been your sign to be on alert. And it's also, I bet you, let's just do this. We're hovering around that whole 50% area. Most likely after taking liquidity and don't follow through. Yeah. So seek and destroy. I would say number one spot I would look is when sweeping liquidity and not running. Could seek 50% of leg / consolidate. So it may want to go back down to 50% and consolidate some. The other scenario at liquidity points is it can consolidate above the liquidity it just took. It can consolidate and then retrace, manipulate down into that fair value area and expand higher. And then number two, obviously bearish / bullish PD arrays failing. PD arrays not acting as expected. FVG. Yep. But it's just going to it'll take chart time. I spot them fairly early because I do like to scalp. So I'm often, on a 15 or 1 minute time frame. So like in this scenario, I mean, what I was already noticing here, we could consolidate. Oh, or B and C can destroy is what I would note. So this whole range is what we would need to create for value gaps out of to be out of consolidation. Thanks, man. Yeah. You're the only one getting the getting the insight on that, I guess. I don't know if anyone else is here, to be honest. Probably just you. But any other questions? Happy to answer. So you have your daily, kind of what you're going to do on the daily. Just each day, I'd start on your daily, mark out your previous day high lows, any 4 hour for value gaps, and then fair value areas. So like tomorrow, just as a note for tomorrow, the way I would go about tomorrow is, which let's just see here. Where are we? 50%. Okay, so tomorrow though, I would mark out my high, previous day high. Because for my trading, really, previous day high and low are going to be a lot of the time strong liquidity for me. Or that's where I care to know where price is going. Okay, we're in. Here's a daily for value area. Not the best. We're in multiple. So I would note we're in multiple daily. There's multiple daily for value gaps. We even have one down here. I mean, that's kind of crazy. A lot of fair value gaps on the daily. And I already know we also have 4 hour fair value area. Oh, there we go. 4 hour for fair value area and a massive 4 hour FVG. Let's just make this purple. Why not? Okay. So I probably don't care about this one. So this is how I would prepare for tomorrow. If talking about your daily, this is what I would look for. And here my scenarios would be, if we're going to go higher, then I would expect us to sweep this previous day low, maybe tap into this daily for value gap to then go higher off of there. I highly doubt we get back up here, but if we sweep the low first, then I'm going to look for longs. If we come into the 4 hour first, then I'm going to look for a short to the daily sell side. I also know we have, I did not mark this out, but we do have this weekly potential fair value gap. So I do mark these weekly. Rest in peace if you get hit. So I'm keeping note of that. So just to, yeah. So I would have, right now there's obviously bullish and bearish arguments. So we're kind of 50-50. Most of the time, not most of the time, but ideally you only have bearish arguments or you only have bullish arguments. But with our monthly and being bullish and our weekly is bullish for the most part, then we want to maintain, kind of looking for the bullish longs. So this is how I would prepare for tomorrow. I'm looking, I kind of think London or Asia, one of the scenarios I like getting 4 hour, like a Asia or London, creating a 4 hour candle wick here. And then like have a wick here, and then I like to see New York open up, sweep that 4-hour wick to then push lower. I would really like that if it could play out. Gives you some 4-hour context to work off of. But we could consolidate tomorrow. Just being stuck in between these 4-hour and daily fair value gaps, and being on a Friday, it may want to set up this as a weekly fair value gap or something to then tag into to head higher off of next week. That could be what it wants to do. It may just be preparing for next week. Hey man, good night. Or you said good insight. I think you said good night. It's like, okay, good night, man. What's ES doing? Pretty much the same thing. I just joined the live. Please look at FX pairs. Ooh, man. I am not, I don't trade Forex, but if you have a question about one, I'm happy to go look at it. But I am not a Forex master by any means, but I can still look at a chart. So happy to help if you have a pair in mind. Jeeb Adag. Adia. Hey, what's up? Adia. How are you? How are y'all? Glad everyone's coming in. We already went over some stuff with Saurav. GU, please. Which GU pair, or just in general? So Rodrigo, you're oh man, okay. Good night, man. Glad you hopped on for a bit. um, is it Rodrigo or is it Rodrigo? Are you from Brazil? Is it Rodrigo? So GU, I'm looking at the futures right now, just to get an idea of what the currency's looking like. Currently looks bullish coming off of this monthly. Targeting high or weekly. Rodrigo. Okay. Oh, Chile. Oh, Quechaipo. Is that a Chilean? Yeah. I know they say Po after everything. I had a lot of friends from Chile in college. uh, Padilla from MNT. Oh, okay, nice. What are you seeing ES and Key for tomorrow? Yeah, I'll go. Oh, nice. Yeah, NX. Okay. Yeah, I'll go over the NQ and NES and all that in here in a second. Yeah, for GU though, definitely looks bullish to me. I have no idea if there's GU news, but I would be noting we have context work within. We have our fair value gap area, fair value area overlapping with fair value gap. So looks like it's creating a bag, but we did just reach this liquidity. So we still could see this bag. I would not say that this bag is a bag in a traditional sense. I think we could still retrace, stab into here to then go higher for GU. And then for your GU pairs, I guess you would want to know Forex Factory. You would want to know what news you have. GBP. We'll just mark them all. And there's not a lot of news this week, I don't think, for Forex. I think it was like New Zealand and that's it, right? Yeah, New Zealand. So GBP was on Thursday. So I wouldn't even be looking. Well, I don't know what time frame you're trading, but I wouldn't be looking at GU really anymore this week because the red folder news is already up. So I'd be looking, which is perfect, on Wednesday. I would be looking at Wednesday for GBP, and mostly because the dollar, the GBP USD, it's not. Dixie's just not super clear to me. If you look at the monthly, we're literally in this. You see this monthly candle? The past 2 months and this month have just been inside this range. It really just needs to take liquidity and move in one of the directions. Doesn't really matter which one, but it just needs to pick a side. I personally think it's gonna seek. I think it's gonna seek down here. Is what I think. But that's what I'd be looking at. GBP looks strong, so I would be doing a GBP XXX. This is what I would do. Does that help? Jib, the akhbar كويس? كويسة? I don't know if you speak Arabic. Anyways, sorry. Jib means bring in Arabic. Okay. What do I see in oil? Sorry, Padilla. I promise I'll get to the indices here in a second. For oil, monthly, bullish, right? This closed low, but it closed low at the end of the week, right? So it looks like it's disrespecting this fair value gap, and it kind of is. But we can expect this because we had this. We're already, well, this is pretty bad, but we are disrespected this. So really, this could have been early signs of consolidation. We're disrespecting these bullish fair value gaps, but anyways, monthly bullish. This is the target here. Weekly, I would say we are bullish also, so that's great. Still in line with our higher time frame. Daily, and we are currently looking like we're sweeping previous week low. So this is our immediate target, our immediate context, weekly context, right? Target 1, target 2. We have resistance here, which we have not. I would have liked a close above here, personally, to really seek for higher prices this week. Since we did not close above here, I'm really waiting for a daily fair value gap. So I would just mark this out, put daily. My boy Zagan, MMT, he puts RIP, rest in peace. So if it touches this, bye-bye creation of a fair value gap. I would be looking at next week for oil. I'd want a new daily fair value gap to form off of to then tap into and continue higher. That's what I'd be looking for. But all of this up here is low resistance. So I would expect if we do get a daily, I wouldn't be surprised if it gets a bag, multiple bags. We could see speed through here. Yep, that's what I'm looking for in oil. Yep, welcome Jeep. All right, indices. Padilla. Padilla, what is you're in MMT on NQ chat? What's your MMT? What's your Discord name? I don't remember seeing Padilla. Unless you're... Are you Taisha? No. Well, I'll just let you respond. Ah, TTL. Okay. Nice. Sorry, I was like, I don't recognize that as a username, but figured it was under a different name. All right, so we'll just get rid of all this and start over. For the indices, we are bullish. We have clear bullish monthly order flow. We are creating a monthly fair value gap. On the week, weekly fair value gap we've tapped into. This will be pretty key, especially for next week. If we fail to create this, then we could seek this fair value area here and potentially a sweep of this low. And I would hope not down here. That would be we'd just be bullish at this point. But so weekly, really would like to see this hold up. I'd love to see a fair value gap get created. It looks like we may be just waiting to form a fair value gap for next week to sting into and then continue higher. The daily were clear disrespect of yesterday's low. Nice sweep of yesterday's high. So we are bullish. You know, just with this candle, you would think we're going to be bearish. Sorry, I said bullish. A little tricky. We have a lot of daily fair value gaps here. So price was in a hurry to get up there. We have, I'm not going to mark this one, but I'll maybe mark the low of it, but we are in a daily fair value gap, potentially creating a bearish daily fair value gap. So we're stuck between a daily and a 4 hour here. This is a massive 4 hour fair value area or fair value gap. Fair value. So I'm expecting tomorrow to just be, do we have news tomorrow? Oh, yes, this is next week. This week, Friday, CPI, PPI. We do have quite a, and 10, wow, okay, we do have some good news tomorrow. So I don't know what's going to happen. But I could see it being seek and destroy tomorrow, just consolidation. We could get a nice sweep of the daily low. I didn't mark out the daily low. Sorry, let me mark that out real quick because we could get a sweep of previous day low. So really I have two, here's what I'm looking at for tomorrow. And it's two scenarios. Previous day high. The two scenarios are, well, three scenarios. One, we consolidate. and we could consolidate around, if it fails to create this daily fair value gap, we could consolidate within this area here. We could sweep. So my bullish scenario is we sweep the previous day low, target up here and consolidate, to then leave us with a weekly fair value gap for Monday and Tuesday come into, and then go higher. My bearish scenario is obviously coming into 4-hour fair value area to then sweep lower. Maybe only to the previous day low or in this fair value gap, and maybe we still leave. I would really like to leave this weekly left open as a fair value gap, but we'll see. So there's my scenario number 2. And I think I had mentioned I really like 4-hour mitigation wicks. So either this candle 10 a.m., but probably London. If London's going to create a wick up here, and we have our body. Say this is a red candle. Well, I'll just mark it red, I guess. We have a red candle. I like New York to come in and sweep, and then in the day low. So it's kind of my 2 scenarios for tomorrow. I'm very 50-50. Probably won't trade my fundeds. Only a combine. But it'd have to be pretty clear. But technically, we are looking to sweep a weekly high. We've already gotten a 4-hour ST, and it was actually a pretty nice ST. So we could already be looking to target some of these lows down here. To be honest, there's lots of potential here. That's what I'm looking at. 50-50. We'll see what the 8:30 and 10 a.m. news does. So I'm expecting 8:30 to be what manipulates higher or lower, and then I expect the 10 a.m. news to create more of that distribution. If a specific time frame is not clear, wait, hold on. Oh, sorry, there's more above here. Yeah, Rodrigo, a fair value area is just an order block or mitigation block or breaker block, whatever, overlapping a fair value gap. So on this daily time frame, well, it's not as clear. We'll use we'll just remove this real quick. Remove. Actually, we'll just go back some. So if you want to look here, so on this leg right here, we had our buys, we had liquidity here, and then we had liquidity down here. So once we break this intermediate term high, all of this area is considered fair value, meaning all of this area has been offered sell side and buy side. So the only area that has not been offered fair value would be above here. So when I mark off fair value areas, it's the wick, mark out the wick if it's overlapping with a fair value gap. If it's not, I mark out the bodies, which I did up here. I'll show you. But this would be fair value area. So at this point in time, I would not want price to come down here. If it comes all the way down here, then it's just going to be seeking liquidity. But what you'll often notice is once we reach these context highs, we'll consolidate, stab down here into fair value, and then continue higher. So that's pretty much what fair value is. It's just an area where the market has already offered fair value. And then an example of where I would use a body and not a wick. For example, on this price leg up. So like today on my charts, I had this marked out as fair value. Since the body or the wick here does not overlap with a fair value gap, I use the body for my fair value. And we clearly disrespected that today in one candle. Do you need an FVG to be violated to seek liquidity and not fair value, or one time frame fair value legs okay? Do you need a fair value gap to be violated to seek liquidity? I'm not sure I know what you mean by that. But to seek like liquidity on the opposing end, like down here, you're talking about like now. But in general, whatever your draw on liquidity is, yes, you would want to see if your draw on liquidity is here, then you would want to see all of these fair value gaps getting disrespected. So yeah, I would want to see that. I would want to see fair value gaps getting price going through them to seek liquidity and not fair value. If a specific time frame is not clear, can I go down to look for a fair value area on that time frame? For example, daily FEA is not clear. It's okay to go down to a 4 hour, even a 1 hour. Sure. You can find fair value wherever you want as long as it's in that context. And it's agreeing with your higher context. So I usually say if you are struggling to find a fair value area, I usually say go up a time frame. So if your daily is not clear, I don't know where, maybe it would not be clear. Maybe here, I don't know, or here. Maybe this area is not clear. I would say go up a time frame, and you'll see our fair value area is going to be here. It's going to be this. Usually, if you go up a time frame, it'll be that order block or mitigation block or something is going to be your fair value area. And then if we go down, down to that daily and see where it puts us. So this could be a good fair value area for our daily. But if you wanted to go down, you can. It's really not a problem. It probably is just going to depend on what you're trading, but I typically would go higher if you're struggling to find a fair value area. And if it's really hard, just focus on the current order flow leg. Like that daily time frame was a little crazy. So maybe just don't even focus. Well, this one you kind of need to, but it's a pretty big area. You can kind of mark out whatever you want. But you know where you don't want price. You don't want price to come all the way down here. That would be suspicious. You have a LOD. You want to see that protected. So really, whether you know where your fair value area is or not, you could see a sweep of this low and into this fair value gap to go higher. But yeah, you can go down. I would recommend usually going up a time frame helps. Is there an example? Is there a chart you're struggling to find fair value area on? See you, TTL. See you tomorrow, man. Breaker, mitigation, or swing. in the higher time frame. Is that referencing the fair value area, Rodrigo? Because yes, yeah, a breaker mitigation block would be in a higher time frame will be a fair value area in a lower time frame. Yeah, yeah, that's good. Yep, you're right. Those are going to be fair value areas in your lower time frame. And we could go to like a 1 minute, see where we're like maybe this area. Where's our fair value area? You know, maybe I don't know if this is an area you would struggle with, but I'd mark it here. But if we went up a time frame, really that one was pretty clear. So, but up a time frame, we have it's actually 50% of that wick, which is interesting. But yep. But again, in this example, I would use the body because the wick does not. Oh, actually, it does. That's just a long wick. I wouldn't. That's actually kind of interesting. I would maybe use this actually. Yeah, this as a fair value area. That wick, I didn't see it overlapping. And then it came up, disrespected this fair value gap, so we're going to seek liquidity here. So if we wanted to paper trade this, well, if we wanted to trade this, you know, we could just sell because I would think we're going to seek liquidity here, probably here, if I was tape reading. And then even in this leg, we have some fair value. I don't really like using this candle because it's a bullish candle. But if we just went up, let's go up to the 2 minute. Yeah, I just not a big fan of that candle, but that's how I would look at fair value area. Yeah, probably fill this. Head lower. Another question. You have tweeted that the market builds liquidity whenever it takes swing highs and lows. Yeah. We saw just an example of that a second ago. So we had these highs here, right? What's it doing? Well, we actually remember went up a time frame. We recognized we have fair value area here. So what's it doing above this fair value area? It's building liquidity. Buenas noches, Rodrigo. Duerma bien. Tenga sueños bien. But yeah, so take out this liquidity. We will when I say often, it's what can happen. We build liquidity above here to then create all kinds of sell side underneath here, just building up this liquidity to then at the right time or day with news, we take all of this liquidity that just built up in here, offer fair value, and immediately go higher. So everyone that tried to short, everyone that just tried to short this breakout, if I can get it, if it will let me get a fair value gap. This breakout here, big candles. Oh, we're going to go lower. Everyone who tried to sell here and has their stops now up here, that built up all of this. People sold, tried to get it. I mean, look at this wick, you can see it. Boom, and then left them in the dust. So that's what I mean by build liquidity. Usually above these swing highs or swing lows, you're going to see liquidity being built, some accumulation to then go lower. But what do we see here? Liquidity build up. So, and then also, so above these areas, you see it. You also will see it in retracements. So at 50%, in the 50% of an area, 50%, start to see us, you can start seeing some consolidation. But the other thing is, if we know consolidation happens in the 50%, can happen in 50% of a range, you can take this range. We're just going to take here. So this, I would say, is deviating from the range. It's the manipulation down to then go up. You can take your leg, order flow leg, and project if we know consolidation is going to happen at 50% of a range, then we can take this range and project higher to see where price may target, which targets here. Do the same thing here. Just gonna guess like 50%. This range targets here. 50%. Maybe if this range is there, hit. So that's what I'm looking for. And what do we see on this leg? We're right in 50%, so we could potentially consolidate. Any other questions, guys? Girls? I don't know if there's girls in here, probably not. Any other charts you want to look at? Any other questions y'all have? Wasn't I in a trade? Guess I got stopped out. Nada más. Sueltani. Any other questions? See what Bitcoin's doing. Everyone's favorite. Monthly. Oh, I think we're actually in like a 3-month. That's why I had it. Swept. For value. So Bitcoin longs, I would like to see a weekly expand through this fair value area. Resistance here to then trace into the weekly to then go higher. right, well, if there's nothing else, guys, then is anyone still on here? If not, I may sign out. So sometimes I use a 15-minute fair value gap when a 4-hour and 1-hour is doing a bag. I feel like I'm not too patient to wait for a 4-hour or 1-hour FPG. Is that okay as a day trader? Yeah, I think so. I use the 15-minute chart pretty much when I'm trading during the day. I stay on a 15-minute chart, to be honest. I don't really look higher. To start the day, I'll like today. But yeah, I mean, you can use a 15-minute chart because all you need to care about is trading the 15-minute context, right? Like, what's price doing here? I don't know. Is there a 1-hour maybe being created? Came off of a 1-hour, but yeah, I'm trying to think of like an example or something like on this candle. You don't want to wait for a fair value gap, 4-hour fair value gap or something. Then like here, we're creating that 4-hour. Where's the next 4-hour candle start? We're about to hit it at 2. But I would, just looking at this 15-minute, think we could retrace here. Like, I don't necessarily care because you're gonna have to wait for 2 o'clock to also form the 4-hour bag, or 2 o'clock to form our 1-hour, I believe. So we are getting a 1-hour bag actually, potentially. So yeah, I use the 15-minute and then I wait for SMT and then enter on a 1-minute. So yeah, I think as a day trader, you don't need a 4-hour or a 1-hour bag or FVG really. But obviously, like equities open or something. That's why I like to mark out like 4-hour like mitigation candles. And what I mean by a mitigation candle, I'm not sure if that's a familiar term, but 4-hour. Should exit this. I think we had like here on this day. I'm pretty sure we had SMT at these lows. This here is a mitigation candle. So you see during our 6 p.m. candle open, so our new day open, stabbed into this 4-hour fair value gap. So I would say it's a mitigation wick. And I look for, like at the opens, I'll look for 15-minute SMT at this low to then seek a 1-minute trade. And I think we did get SMT here, but we can double check. So if you see here, it's already been swept and Q did not. So that's what I look for um, on a 15-minute. So yeah, I don't think you don't really need the 4 hour or 1 hour. You just need liquidity levels, whether it be Asia or London, highs, lows, um, lunchtime, just whatever, and then drop down to a 1 minute or 5 minute or wherever you feel comfortable and take a trade. Um, but I mean, I could stay on a 15-minute chart and just trade fair value areas. So, you know, it's kind of what I like to look for anyways, is just fair value areas. Respecting it, go higher. Fair value area here. See if we get there before we get these highs. So, I mean, you could just stay on, reach this high. No S&T really that I can see, just on that. But it's, yeah, hopefully that answers your question. Oh, it's open. So we probably had SMT down here. Yep, SMT here. To then go higher. Up there. All right, if 2 minutes, I will log off if there's no more questions. It can be about anything. Anything. Last question. Planning to buy a 5K challenge. Can you please help how I can pass the challenge in terms of risk management? Uh, sure. What what's your drawdown? Is it it's 4x? I'm assuming, because I don't know of a futures firm that does a 5K, unless you mean 50K. All right, we're gonna do something fun here. I'm gonna buy. Just have fun. But in general, I do 10% risk. Well, so if it's 4x, I know a lot of people will do 1K drawdown. So I like to do 10% of the drawdown. Or I know a lot of 4x people do 1% of the account balance. So I would do 1K drawdown. That's $100. What's your target? What do you have to get to on a 5K? I'm guessing like I don't know what it would be on a 5K. Is it 3,000 or something? That would be kind of crazy with only 1K. Really here. But yeah, typically 10% of the drawdown is what I do. And because that's going to give that usually gives you enough trades before you blow your account. Whether 10 trades, oftentimes you're not going to lose 10 trades in a row. And then just do that. Drawdown is 500 with 10%. So you have a $500 drawdown, and you're trying to make 650. So then I would do 10%. So of your drawdown is going to be $50, which is not a lot, but you're not having, it's a small account, so. And if you wanted, you could do like 65, somewhere in there, depending on what your trade's going to give you. All right. And then just build it up. Now just stay there. So we're going to go ahead and find here. Go to our 30-second. So, yep. That's what I would do. I usually do 10% of my drawdown. And really, until you get to a funded, I just would just keep it at 10%. Don't even move it. And really only move my but only up my risk once. So like for me, let's say you have like on a 50K account, we'll use yours. So on yours you have $500. I wouldn't go up to 100 until you've doubled your drawdown to 1,000, and you risk 10% of that to give you your $100. And then when you double that to 200, then you can start risking, or to 2,000, then you can start risking $200. Wow. And that's how I would start building up your account. So So I'm just practicing. I'm just reading price act, trying to practice here. While we're on here, just order flow. We offered fair value, but does not look like we want to just expand higher. If we create a fair value gap here, then I'll feel more comfortable with it coming down here. To take that out and maybe potentially down here. We do have some equal lows. One minute didn't create a fair value gap higher. Don't like how this didn't sweep the high to go lower, but we're already, so that's already, technically we already reached our context, so we could just be out of the trade. Didn't seek for value here. Instead, we sought the liquidity upside the range. Now, will we will we create new fair value area or not? If we don't, then we may start seeing some seek and destroy on a small time frame. Which we're sort of already doing. Failed to create fair value gap lower. Failed to create fair value gap higher. Well, it did a little bit. Then it got disrespected. Right now we need fair value gaps through here. Okay, we're respecting this fair value area. So I would think we're going to target liquidity here, and it should be fast. Oh, well, there is resistance, but speed, big candles. Give us big candles. Bags on bags. But this is interesting, actually. So built some consolidation here, right? To then manipulate higher, and then we see the speed down. So right before we start to stab into our higher time frame PD array, being a 5-minute on a 30-second, 15-second chart, build up some liquidity. Yes, and then manipulate it higher, and then speed down. Right? Pretty fun. All right, there we go. Big candles down. So that's, I don't know if anyone stayed, but that's how I would practice reading order flow. All right, guys, I'm gonna head out. Talk to y'all tomorrow and see how the day goes.